This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. We are joined by Janice Elliott, a new member of the City Council in Upland, which is right inside of San Bernardino County. What a wonderful community in which you reside.
Thank you, Brad.
Upland, like many cities in the region, some financial challenges as a city. With the recession, we're coming out of it, but there have been some fiscal challenges. And so there has been a move afoot to look at ways to save money. And one of those was to look at the Upland Fire Department.
Correct.
Explain how the fire department operates today.
Well, it's a
simple,
city-owned.
and that's the key.
It's a city-owned fire department.
Right.
And we've got we've got pension expenses, we've got workers' comp expenses,
Right.
we have overtime expenses, we have
General salaries.
a lot of management, we have fairly high salaries, and we've got to provide good responsive services. So we've got 4 stations in the city of Upland, and they all have a fairly short radius where they
Right.
can very well cover the area.
So some folks have felt that given that there is a San Bernardino Fire Department as a county, not the city, but the
Right.
county, that maybe Upland could turn to the county to provide fire services. There are other cities that have done that.
Correct.
The county will provide services for unincorporated areas as a way to try to save money for the city.
That's correct.
There's an economies of scale argument. The pension obligations for prior employees would continue.
That's correct.
But the rest would move forward with the San Bernardino County Fire Department. And so that proposal is moving forward.
That is moving forward. The sales tax, 54% of Upland's share of sales tax is ready to be transferred as soon as the protest period ends, if the annexation is approved.
So let's back up because I
Yes.
want to explain that. So
Yes.
the way this process would work is that literally San Bernardino County Fire would annex in the Upland territory, which does include some unincorporated territory as well.
That is correct.
And it would become part of their jurisdiction. And the process by which this happens goes through the local agency formation commission. It's almost as if the county is annexing, let's say Upland wanted to annex some city land. To bring in land that's unincorporated into the city. They would go to LAFCO. So this is the same type of situation.
It is, and we have used LAFCO for vector control in order to obtain vector services through San Bernardino County.
So
it's the same process.
They have to annex it in.
Correct.
But in this case, it's not that Upland is annexing unincorporated
No.
territory. It's the reverse.
No.
It's that San Bernardino County Fire would annex in Upland and that small unincorporated area.
For fire services.
Exclusively.
Although the building and the property that our fire department
Okay.
is, that property and building and all of our equipment does go to San Bernardino County.
It does. It would transfer.
And irrevocably.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
And so is there a financial hit for that or?
Well, the hit for that is that we also will be the county will be transferring 54% of all of our real estate taxes from that goes to Upland.
Right.
All of the properties, all of the property tax that the owners, property owners pay.
For that element.
For that element,
Will then-
54% of
right.
that will go to San Bernardino County.
So I understand that you as a councilwoman, you're not necessarily opposed to the concept of the annexation.
Not at all.
But the process is troubling to you.
Right. I voted to allow San Bernardino County to transfer the property tax if the annexation process is completed. And I understood at the time that the way that the Upland residents would have a chance to voice their
Right.
opinion is through a protest vote.
Right.
I was not familiar with the mechanism of the protest, but once the protest period started, once I received the notice from LAFCO of the protest proceedings, I then found that it was very user unfriendly and I was extremely uncomfortable that a lot of people would not know that this was occurring.
Right.
They would not have an opportunity to express themselves. Had this gone to a vote like Proposition 13 allows for,
Right.
you would get a ballot in the mail. If you were an absentee voter, you would receive notification. You would go to the polls. You would
Right.
say yes or no.
Because in this instance, if I may say, Councilwoman,
Sure.
there is an assessment, if this annexation occurs, about $150 per year per parcel will be
Correct.
added as part of your property tax.
That is correct, $150 approximately per
Right.
year, and that can go up 3% a year.
And that's the crux of your concern, is that there's a tax that's being passed, I guess, without going to the voters.
That is
Right.
absolutely the issue. Without a easy way to go
Right.
to, I thought, and I probably should have checked this, but I thought they were going to get something in the mail, a form in the
Are
mail.
they not getting something in the
Well,
mail?
they got a form in the mail, but they had to go then to the website, and they had to follow the instructions on the form on to where to click in the website.
But is that necessarily too much of a burden when you think about, I'm just playing it out, of course.
I understand.
Yeah, but because, look, if we went to an election, that would be a cost, and Upland would have to bear that cost.
And it's not insignificant,
And it's not-
about
right.
$225,000.
Thank you, thank you. So could one argue that, look, in a democracy, there's pushing and pulling, and so one way could be a formal vote, the other way could be protest, and even though the website could be clunky, that on balance, this is the best approach.
You could look at it that way, and I would understand if you did, and a lot of people do
Right,
see it that
right.
way. I don't see it quite that
Talk
way.
more.
I have been talking to my neighbors, and a lot of people don't even know that this is
Right.
going on. I am an avid newspaper reader, and I'm a junkie on Facebook and Nextdoor, so
Right.
I know what's going
And that's
on.
how you got to us,
And
because
that's how
one of your fellow council members came on to discuss it, and I'm thrilled that you reached out and
Right,
said,
right.
I want to talk about this as well.
But I am a retired person outside being a council member.
I know what you're saying.
And when
Right.
I was
You have
working,
time on your hands, right.
I wasn't quite on top of it. I might not have known that this was going on, although I probably would because I do.
Because that's you, you're Janice Elliott. Right.
It is a hobby of mine
Right.
to know what's
I
going
get
on
it.
politically,
I get
Brad.
it. So where do we go from here? As we speak, we're inside the protest period. I don't exactly know how many protests have to be filed for something else to occur. I guess if a certain number of protests would be filed, it would be put to a vote automatically?
If 25% of either the registered voters in Upland or 25% of the parcel owners send in their protest form saying they protest the procedure, then it would go to a vote.
Okay.
If over 50% of either of those groups send it in, then it is automatically terminated.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So if you aren't aware of what to do, you can go to sanbernardinocountyLAFCO.com and work your way through it. You can
Right.
go to the cable airport. You can pick up the forms there and fill them in and drop them off there. There is a website, stoplafco.com, that will
fancy.
give you a form that you can fill out too, and the number you want to put in there is 3216.
I love that we are seeing democracy in action. Whether one agrees with you or not, I love that you're giving us this information. Whether you live in Upland or not, it's a fascinating process.
This is something that I
Right.
had never even heard of before. And it's actually a fairly new process.
And what a ball you must be having as a new member of the Upland City Council. Her name is Janice Elliott. She is on the Upland City Council. My name is Brad Pomerance. Thank you so much for joining us on Local Edition.